Hey guys, what's up? It's Mike. No, it's been a while since I've made a video. I've been swamped. The school just started back up, and I've been really busy just getting back into the grind. But New Comic Book Day was this week, Wednesday the 18th, and I have a crap ton of things to talk about. A lot of books. I picked up a lot of books, and a lot of books are coming out, and a lot of news that's been like announced in the last couple of weeks. So first off, I'm gonna be doing a couple of Marvel reviews. I'm gonna do my DC reviews eventually. It's just they're just piling on, and the more they pile on, I just feel like skipping them, but they will be done. Um, so I'm actually gonna review a book that came out not this week, I believe the week before last week. Wolverine the X-Men #4. Something I've been looking forward to reviewing for a while. Yeah, so the creative team switches up a little bit on this. Nick Bradshaw takes over the art instead of Chris Bacalo, and I'm a little disappointed at that. I really like Chris Bacalo's art. It's really good, and I don't really like Nick Bradshaw's art. He draws his characters are really weird shaped. Um, but anyway, back into this. So the last time we left off was the first arc with the whole Hellfire Club, and the X-Men, the Jean Grey School comes back out top. This issue starts off with Wolverine. He's sort of he's monologuing the changes that's been going on. Now he's a professor. He has a door with his name on it. He's the headmaster of the school. But at night, he still does his Wolverine stuff, his X-Force stuff, killing ninjas and threats to the mutants, so the kids can be kids. Um, and not only that, it's revealed that in X Force he revealed to Beast and Kitty that he was still running X Force, and that two new additions would be joining the school. We then move on to the scene at the school, and Wolverine is talking to the faculty, sort of discussing like their options, like how everything's been going on. Apparently they're out of money. Kid Gladiator keeps wrecking stuff. Um, and Clinton Choir incited a militant uprising over tater tots and other. It's just going crazy. But Wolverine says that they're bringing a couple people in, new students, and we move on to a class scene, and it's they introduce Genesis, or as he prefers to call Evan. For you guys who don't know, Genesis is actually he is the he's a clone of Apocalypse. Phantom X grew him in a test tube and sort of raised him to be a hero. And everyone's like, does that guy look like Apocalypse? And everyone's like, yeah, he does. um, so there's a scene between all the students about and Kid Gladiator sort of tells him that makes Evan feel bad, and so does Edie. Um, she admits that they're all monsters there and devils, and they're all going to hell and shit and other shit like that, because she's just crazy. She's confused and messed up, and Evan doesn't really like it at the school. Iceman and Wolverine, they see Warren Worthington, Archangel, and he's different too. For those who don't know, in X-Force, he sort of got possessed by his evil Archangel persona and tried to end the world. They see him fly off, and um, he goes to his family who's like burying their pet that died, and he digs the pet up and touches it, and Iceman sort of takes him back and finds him. And then we go back to the class scene, and Kitty there's a special guest lecturer, Deathlock from the future. He's a cyborg from the future, or android, and he basically comes to tell the kids, about their future or how the future will be. And he says, chances are like 43% of you guys are gonna die before reaching adulthood. And then he goes through some of the characters, and he's like, oh, Iri Okonokwo, who is she has a 33% chance to either die at the hands of the Hellfire Club, or a 33% chance of being a leader of the X-Men when she grows up. Quentin Quire, he has a 40% chance of being expelled and a 67% chance of burning the school down. And he just looks at the characters. He says, Kid Gladiator, he has a 50% chance essentially of fighting the Avengers, or 50% chance of being an Avenger. And and then he sort of goes through some of the major characters in the book and leaves it at that. He passes over Genesis, Iceman, and then we move back to the Iceman and Archangel portion. Iceman takes Archangel back to school, and and Warren doesn't remember anyone. He doesn't remember Bobby, even though they were the original X-Men. They were the Beatles. And so they go back to we move back to Deathlock and Genesis, and Genesis wants to know what does the future hold, and Deathlock sees it, and he sees himself. The first scene we see is him burned, destroyed, Deathlock dead, and then we see the future X-Men, the X-Men of the future, which consists of Edie, Broodling, Kid Gladiator, who is now Gladiator, and to my surprise, Quentin Quire, who appears to be the host of the Phoenix Entity, because as shown by his uniform, it's actually a very interesting future. And they're all X-Men, and the school is destroyed. They're in Westchester, and Broodling is like, they all know who did this, who destroyed the school, and knowing that it's Apocalypse, it's Evan, their friend, who they probably went to school with and fought alongside with, and we see him burning the school to the ground with his almighty power. And Deathlock sort of tells the kid, I can't tell you who you are. That's for you to find out. And Wolverine and Deathlock sort of have a discussion, and Wolverine's like, I'm giving this. The kid is Apocalypse, or a clone, but I'm giving him the chance to be something greater than that. Let him be what he wants to be, not just Apocalypse. And then Bobby returns to the school with Warren, and he finds out that Wolverine and Warren were doing their X-Force thing, but and that Wolverine's like, what? We had, he burned. He was taken down. His memories are burned away in a battle against Apocalypse, and Bobby tells him no more X-Force. And Wolverine is saying, what? That's fine. I brought him here to try to jog his memory, to turn him. So we then move on to all the characters, and we see that apparently new Archangel has the ability to bring things back to life. Evan is still confused, and and then we go back to the school. Kitty gets sick, and when we see the end, she's pregnant somehow, and that's how the issue ends. This issue was actually something I was looking forward to a lot, especially since I've been looking for what I really wanted from Wolverine and the X-Men was more issues about the school and about just school shenanigans, and this issue sort of brought that out a little bit, which was good. I liked the fact that they showed them in class learning, doing something. They had a special guest lecturer, Deathlock. He sort of told them the future, and it was interesting. I would like to see all the other professors teaching, like Wolverine's classes. He has a couple classes that he teaches, and just them hanging out at school, and the kids being kids, and the professors trying to deal with teaching at a mutant school, which they haven't done. They've never taught at a school. Back then when it was Xavier school, Professor Xavier was a teacher. Scott was, Jean was. Wolverine never had to have this hand-on experience, nor did Bobby. He was always just that funny guy. And Kitty was just a kid. But this is a great chance for that, and they did a good job. I'm not looking for. I don't really like. Otherwise, the story's solid, great story. I felt the Archangel parts I didn't like at all. I really didn't like the Archangel parts at all. Not that I don't like Archangel. I just don't like the way they the take on it, or Jason Aaron's take on it. Especially since Rick, I mean, he probably worked on it with the writer X-Force Rick Remender, but I think it's a little just too simple and silly that he burned all his memories and now he's like a clean slate or whatever. Um, so story wise, it's a great. This issue is great. I'm sort of looking forward to the next arc, especially with the whole Kitty pregnant, especially since she hasn't had sex in like, she was like instantly pregnant. It was just like whoa. Um, the next, so solid story artwork. I really don't like Nick Bradshaw's art that much at all. Um, what I do like about his art is how he draws Wolverine in costume. Wolverine in costume is interesting. He's short and stocky. Um, he's really, really like broad though. Some of the characters look interesting. I like this take on Coin Choir in the future. Um, and on Broodling, how Broodling would turn out. Uh, I'm not too fond of the way his take on Archangel or his take on Iceman. Especially since Chris Bacallo, just when he draws Iceman, he just made him like monstrous. And Archangel just looks. He just look. His character. Nick Bradshaw just draws his character weird. Um, but otherwise, the art was solid. Nothing to complain about. It was good. Um, Characters were easily. Who is who is easy to tell. There's a lot of characters in the class that I don't know who they are, which is I'm curious. They should put out an official class roster, or Marvel should, in one of these books. Because there's just a lot of people in the school apparently. So overall, I'm gonna give Wolverine the X-Men #4 a 4 out of 5. It's a good issue. The only thing is that Nick Bradshaw's art just is a little depressing. I don't really like it. I think Chris Bacallo is coming back during the X-Men Avengers vs X-Men event, so maybe I'm hoping. But yeah, it's a good book. I'm gonna have a bunch of other reviews coming out soon, guys. But thanks for watching this. Let me know what you think, and enjoy your books for this week. And if you're back in school, good luck with school. All right, see you guys later.